being as well. You would turn down the air conditioner and the North Pacific would get hotter, and we've seen this. We know it's affecting salmon migrations. What would happen over here in the Indian Ocean if I turn off the current?
It'd get hotter.
It'd get a lot hotter, right? More water vapor would be stuck there. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Bangladesh and India have had the 2 deadliest monsoon seasons ever in the last 2 years. Why? Because their ocean's getting hotter, so it's evaporating more, so the clouds hold more rain. And when the monsoon breaks, there's more water in the monsoon, so they get more flooding. Bangladesh just had the deadliest monsoon season ever last year. Caroline's still with the cell phone. Should I ask you a third time? Good. And then, what would happen if we turn off the current for Europe? And you know what? Anybody have family that lives in Europe? Yeah. If you want, call them and ask them about the last couple winters. Have they mentioned to you the last couple winters? Yeah, England just had the coldest winter ever last year. They had the most people dying of exposure last winter. In England, like homeless people or like the elderly that can't afford home heating and stuff, they're dropping like flies because their last winter was much colder than usual. Because it's colder, there's less evaporation, so you've got less water vapor in the air. So watch this. Climate change has been happening and is already killing people. Everybody talks about it like a problem for our grandchildren. Let me show you an interesting thing. This melted, so this is no longer sinking, so the current is stopped, so we're not bringing hot water, so this area is getting colder, so there's less evaporation. This area is now getting colder, and with less evaporation, they're getting a drought. Since they have a drought, they're not growing quite as much corn as they used to could, so they're no longer exporting corn. They're no longer exporting corn at a really low price to Africa, so these fools are starving. Because they can't get cheap corn from them, because they're not getting any rain out of their atmosphere, because there's not as much evaporation here. Not as much evaporation, because they're not getting a delivery of hot water from India anymore. We've seen this in the last decade. None of these patterns are a surprise. Have you guys heard of a movie called The Day After Tomorrow? It came out, I think, when I was a freshman in college or a senior in high school. That movie was based on these predictions, just sped up. So there was Europe having their ice age because it got colder. I don't know if you remember, in that movie right at the beginning, there's some people in Europe at a field station and the ice moves in and kills them first. Okay. The Day After Tomorrow was a realistic prediction of a climate future sped up. The scientists said, oh, this will take 2,000 years. And the director said, yeah, that's kind of boring. Let's do it in 4 days. The only thing that was fictional about The Day After Tomorrow was the time span, not the predictions. When that movie came out, this hadn't happened yet. And so far, it has happened. Not as fast as the movie said. But we're already seeing a general chilling in Europe, a drying of the European jet stream, a heating in the North Pacific, a heating in the Indian Ocean, and more water vapor in the Indian Ocean. So wetter monsoons in India and Bangladesh. Crazy, right? You know, the funny thing is that it ought to have more, but the least heating and cooling influence is for the Pacific because it's so far in the current, the opposite end. So even though you've stopped it over here, you still have upwelling because of the offshore wind in Alaska. We should have a hotter Pacific Ocean, and we do. That has been measured already. But on our side, where the Pacific is, there hasn't been a major change in evaporation yet. We do believe that's the reason that the East is having snowier snowstorms. Because our jet stream is carrying more water vapor because our water vapor comes from up here. So more evaporation here is loading more moisture into the jet stream, which is why they're getting a snowier couple of years the last couple of years. But that jet stream hasn't affected us because technically we're more influenced by the ocean immediately south of us than we are by changes in the North Pacific, just because we're coastal.
Nice.
The Rockies are kind of drying, but the northern Rockies are getting snowier, and definitely the tail end of the North American jet stream is way wetter. So in winter, way more snow.
So does that mean that we're getting more water in Colorado River and more water?
It's a really interesting question. Some people have suggested that we should. The funny thing is, the jet stream has a break just above the Colorado watershed. So the Mississippi is going to get a lot more water, but the Colorado may not.
So it's one good possible thing.
For us locally, the one possible. Yeah. Gabe, did you have your hand up?
Is Europe getting drier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Distinctively.
Yeah.
That's the cause of the Russian drought that's limiting Africa's supply. Hey, we did that. I didn't think we'd have enough time. And we even have like 6 minutes. Holy mackerel. Yes. Slow down.